Yeah.
Okay, we see your screen, Jackson.
After presentation, yeah, what one perform. So when they are changed.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
First, I want to thank the organizers of this conference and each one of you who took the time to connect today. It is both an honor and a responsibility to speak on a subject that touches the life, dignity, and the future of millions of people, the climate crisis in Africa, and particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo. My name is Jackson Kasangani. I am an activist for peace and climate justice. For years, I have traveled across my country and close to the community, forest villages threatened by illegal logging, mining zone poisoned by pollution, families displaced by floods or war. Today, I am not here only to share a diagnosis. Together, I want to understand who are the actors behind this destruction and to see how local resistance is already taking shape and to explore how we can organize and protect it so it becomes a real force for change. Really, Africa and the climate crisis. Africa is the most vulnerable continent to the impacts of climate change. It is also the most injustice treated because we are the responsible of less than 4% of global greenhouse gas emission. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, warming is happening twice as fast as the global average. The consequences are brutal. Deadly floods in Kinshasa, Uvira, and Goma. Drought in Katanga and Kasai, destroying crops. Storms and landslides wiping out entire neighborhoods. But this is not only an ecological crisis, it is also a social and security crisis. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, climate change fuels war, armed groups plunder resources, destroy forests, and use the profits to finance their violence. Our people are trapped on one side, the rain that sweeps away their homes on the other, the bullets that can take their lives. The forces behind the destruction, we must have to courage to name the culprits. Fossil fuels. Across Africa, oil and gas projects are still expanding, driven by multinational corporations such as Total Energy, ExxonMobil, BP, Shell, Eni. Behind them, there are banks like GP, Morgan Chase, BNP, Paris Bank, Standards Chartered with pump billion into projects that destroy our lands and displace communities. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, this destruction is not abstract. It is happening now. At COP26, the DRC signed like 500 million agreements to halt and reserve deforestation in the Congo basin the second largest tropical forest in the world, known as the Land of Africa. But only months later, the government announced the auctioning of 27 oil blocks and 3 weaver, some of the world's last intertropical forests. Protected areas, including 2 blocks inside Virunga National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, home to mountain gorillas and extraordinary biodiversity. Territories where nearly 5 million people and soil for their survival. The companies involved include Perenco from France, Symbion Power and Red Winds Exploration, LLC from USA, Alfajiri Energy Corporation, with the direct support of the Congolese states from the President of the Republic, Mr. Felix Tshisekedi, to the Minister of Hydrocarbons. The contradiction is shocking. While the government cashes in on oil auction, it claims to be the custodian of the Congo Basin, the second land of the planet. Even worse, 85% of Virunga National Park's territories lies on oil reserves now being auctioned. If exploited, this would mean the destruction of Africa's oldest national park, funded to protect life itself. But communities are resisting. Really, community, they are resisting. Just last year, in Rutshuri, for example, activists mobilized to denounce this macabre project. They demanded the immediate cancellation of the auction, calling them illegal and immoral, a betrayal of the Congolese people and of the global climate. Mining exploitation. The Democratic Republic of Congo is at the heart of the global energy transition. Like 70% of the world's cobalt for electricity vehicle batteries comes from our soil. Our coltan, gold, lithium, copper, and diamonds feed the digital economy and the green economy worldwide. But this wealth is not for us. It is for Genoncore from Switzerland, China mobile mining from China, barren gold from Canada, beer from Botswana, Anglo-American from UK. The consequences are devastating. Rivers poisoned by mercury and chemical. Interior forests destroyed to open pits. Children sent underground with shovels, risking death daily. Communities terrorized by enemy groups to who says mine and use the profits to finance war. Now, conflicts, economy, who finances the violence? In Eastern Congo, mining and climate destruction are inseparable from armed conflicts. Militias and rebels groups finance themselves by controlling mining sites, taxing transport routes, and selling mineral and to traders. These minerals are smuggled into neighboring countries like Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and from those exported worldwide. Multinational corporations often turn a blind eye, buying through intermediaries while claiming responsible sourcing. This is what I call triple exploitation. Like violence, our people are killed or displaced by armed groups. Destruction, like forests, rivers, and soil are devastated by extractive projects. Deprivation, profits flow abroad to Geneva, Beijing, London, New York, while Congolese towns remain without electricity and clean water or schools. Now, local and global consequences. Locally, farmlands disappears under mining concessions. Families are displaced, cultures and traditions they are lost. Food insecurity become chronic. Globally, the world depends on our resources for its green transition, but an energy transition built on blood, cobalt, and oil from Virunga is not just a transition. It is another form of colonialism, a green colonialism. Resistance and local alternatives. Contrary to what many believe, Africa is not waiting passively to be saved. It is already resisting in many forms after underreported. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Kisangani and Inongo, village committees organize patrols to protect their forests from illegal loggers. In Kenya, Wangari Maathai Green Belts movement mobilized thousands of rural women to plant over 50 million trees. In Uganda, for instance, the IFIEGO network challenged the aircorp pipeline with lawsuits, advocacy, and grassroots mobilization. In Burkina Faso, farmers practice agroecology, restoring soil and resisting desertification. Now, how to organize resistance? Start with local committees in villages and neighborhoods. Connect them into regional and continental network. Train communities in documentations like photo, videos, testimonies as evidence. Build across movements alliance like climate peace, human rights, women's rights, and diversity. To diversify strategies like from local mobilizations to international advocacy. Now, avoiding repression. Do not centralize leadership in one person. Use secure communication channel. Make local, leaders visible internationally to data attacks. Train activists in digital and physical security. Now, call to action. First, with this reality, each of us can act and at different levels, like support local initiatives directly, not just large NGOs, put pressure on banks and corporations to stop funding destruction. amplify the voices of communities at the international level. Solidarity must not only be emotional, it must be operational. Now, to conclude, climate change is destroying lives. Really, it is destroying lives today. Here and now, it is not a natural fate, it is the result of political and economic choices. The good news is that we have as well a choice. We can choose either to organize and we can choose to resist. We can choose to innovate. Africa is not asking for charity, it is demanding justice, and climate justice cannot be separated from peace and human dignity. I invite you to be of this, to be part of this resistance, not as spectators, but as active allies, because the fight for climate justice is also the fight for our shared humanity. Thank you.
If I'm correct, we're hoping that Mary will come on as moderator for the talk by Jackson's Kasangani. And I hope you are there, Mary. I'm, excuse me, I might lead off with asking Jackson a question, and I think we should all ask Jackson a question. What do you foresee will be the developments over the next 2 or 3 years in the Congo, given the conflict that is going on now? And please unmute Jackson if it's all right.
Okay, thank you, dear Rolf, for the question. You know, what can the public do in practice is to support local movements and amplify their voices, pressure founders. Because the low international visibility of Africa climate struggles, and consequently, there is a continued exploitation without accountability. And solution is to build the local global partnership.
So we're waiting for Mary to come on. You may have to enter via your phone. We cannot hear you. The transmission via the PCJ Kisumu is not working the way it looks. Mm.
Yeah, Rolf, are you there?
Yes, I'm waiting for Mary to come in and she's using the wrong link, I think. She should be using this link, which I will show shortly here. I hope I'm correct in this. One second. Hold on. Are there any more questions that can be raised from the floor, including from Lydia or others? The idea here is to ask Jackson certain questions. Yes, Mary.
Yeah, I can see the question. Someone brought a question to me here. Yeah, someone says, how can international organizations effectively support? And yeah, the answer to this question is that uh, the international organizations effectively can support by, yeah, directly by funding local communities, yeah, strengthening movement capacities and pressuring exploitative multinationals. Uh, Yes, because the cause was the low international visibility, poorly adapted projects, and consequently, ineffective aid marginalization of local actors. But the sustainable solution can be participatory monitoring mechanism, international advocacy, NGO, community partnership. Yeah, that is.
Jackson, if I could intercede for going back to the original question. What is your opinion of the foreseeable 2 years in terms of the violence? Which groups will dominate and will the violence recede in the Congo?
Yeah. Rolf, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, okay. In the next 2 or 3 years, what do you foresee as the violence trend in the Congo and which forces will dominate and which forces will recede? It's a judgment of what you foresee coming based on your knowledge. Were you able to hear me? I hope so. I will type it in the chat box in that case if my question is not clear enough. You weren't able to hear me. Are there any other questions coming up in that case?
Hello, Rolf.
Yes,
Can you hear
I'm
me?
trying. Are you able to hear me now?
Okay. Yes. What's the
Okay.
question, please?
Yeah, the question is, in the next 2 or 3 years, what do you see as the forces of violence that will dominate or recede in the Congo? And do you feel that there will be more trends towards peace or more towards violence?
Rolf, in 2 years, the DRC, yeah? Yes, the DRC could either be torturing further into violence, fragmentation, or beginning a fragile path towards stability. Much hinges on whether rebel groups are meaningful engaged, whether governance and military capacity are restored, and whether the humanitarian crisis receives timely, sustained action.
Okay. Jackson, are you willing to proceed with your next part of your talk?
Yeah, let me see how to share the next.
And I would urge Mary to use her phone because we cannot hear any communication. I do not see any communication with Mary because it's important that she log in. And I appreciate your patience. We're all learning in this. And if there is a problem for Mary, maybe in the chat box would help. Okay.
I don't know whether I can see the second part.
Yes, we see your display, Jackson. Youth say stop, local resistance and climate justice in Africa.
Perfect.
Hello.
Now we hear you, Mary.
Yes, we are here. Has Kasangani finished or he's still going on with the presentation?
Mr. Jackson Kisangani will go on with part 2 if he's ready, if there are no more questions.
Yeah, here there are no more questions. So maybe if Kisiangani has finished the first round of his presentation, then we could welcome the Amazon Theatrics to give us at least something as we wait for him to prepare.
Yeah, fine, fine. If, yeah.
Okay. Now next is Amazon Theatrics, who are going to present some skit about plastic pollution.
Oh my God.
Hello,
Yes, now we hear you.
is Kasangani ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, go on.
Okay, last time, yeah, Mary, can you mute? Can you mute, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, last time we talked together about the climates and
We just lost your voice, Jackson.
Mimi nimereduce na ilikuwa naongea vizuri.
sorry, mute. Okay, last time I said we talked together about the climate and security crisis devastating Africa, especially the Democratic Republic of Congo. And now I want to shift the perspective. I want to talk about the resists, about what resists, what grows even in the rains. I want to talk about youth, local communities, and the Africa of solutions. We are also builders of different future. And we say stop, but also, yes, we organize yes, we fight. Mobilization and organization. When we are angry, we know how to mobilize. We know how to talk to the streets, shout slogans, and hold signs. Mobilization is I mute. I say mobilization is fast, emotional, visible, but it is a problem. It fades quickly. When the crowd disperses, what remains? Often nothing. Organization is something else. It is long-term strategy. it is the plan, joint leaders, united teams, and shared vision. Mobilization is the spark, but organization is the first that keeps burning all night. Who here has participated in a process? Who here has been part of an organizing meeting? You can see the difference against brutal, greedy, and malicious forces. Mobilizations alone is not enough, but organization allows us to last, resist, and to win. And our most powerful weapon is organized non-violence. Now, youth on the front lines. Africa is young. 70% of its populations is under 30. But this youth is on the front line of crisis. Forced displacement, conflicts, loss of life, and destruction, droughts, floods, massive unemployment, social marginalization. Yet, this youth refuses to stand idle. Faced with government inaction and foreign powers cynicism, youth people rise, organize, and support each other. They protect forests, rivers, and ancestral seeds. They innovate urban farming, renewable energy, recycling. They denounce climate injustice, resource plundering, and above all, they understand if we don't act, no one will do it for us. If we don't act, no one will do it for us. Now, citizen resistance. Citizen movements. Peaceful resistance against corruption, civil disobedience to raise climate urgency, defending community and farmer rights. Concrete initiatives in the Democratic Republic of Congo, like agroecology, community forest management. In Niger, for instance, early warming system for droughts. In Senegal, circular economy and recycling. Now, about my personal experience, I tried to helping war and flood displaced people in Goma, training on climate justice, campaigns for a just ecological transition. And it all starts small. One conversation, one meeting, one mobilization, one victory. What are our demands? Recognition and support. Youth are agents of change, not passive beneficiaries. Direct funding for local initiative. Now, Pan-African unity. Strong, inclusive alliances. Spaces for exchange, training, and mobilization. Youth included in COP, policies, and peace processes. Climate justice. and fossil fuels, create green jobs, redirect war money to peace and renewable energy, sustainable public transports, and plastic pollution, adaptation funds for vulnerable communities. Now, to conclude, every tree planted, every voice raised, every act of solidarity, it is an act of resistance. I am here to carry the voice of those no one listens to remind you that solutions already exist. They grow from the lands, the youth, and the forgotten corners of the country. Justice, but also, yes, we organize, yes, we fight. We are the change. We want Africa to stand tall. We want to build a future, not you.
Technical issues side yake.
Are you all hearing Jackson or has he stopped? Jackson, you are muted.
Yeah. Yes, Rolf, I can hear you.
Okay, now you're ready and I hear you too. You were muted for a time.
Yes, Rolf, I can hear you.
And we hear you too. So please continue.
Yeah, I have finished with my presentation.
Okay. Okay. And Mary is on in that case? Please unmute, Mary.
Yes, yeah.
If there are some questions, yes, come on.
Thank you very much. I think we are going to thank participants who are present in the hall. So thank you for the presentation. It's a very wonderful. Now we are going to take questions from our participants. Any questions? We need to have question, please. Otherwise, I will Yes, thank you very much. have a question here. In the presentation, involvement of especially of youth in urgent steps. So the question is, how did you make sure that how did you motivate the youth so that they can the development project team?
Thank you very much, Brother Daniel, for that question. And we want to recommend the answer. Anybody with a question? Please try.
Thank you, Jacob. And my question is, what are some of the factors the youth, whether the youth of Congo or the sea, do at the program? That's what I don't think that's concerned.
Jackson must unmute.
Yeah, Rolf, I can hear you, but I do not catch very well clearly the question.
Edwin, could you repeat the question, please?
Or write, or they can write.
And thank you very much. This is Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, sorry.
Thank you.
Could Kevin repeat the question, please? Because it wasn't picked up and the audio is very strong, so it's hard to hear.
Thank you, Rita. I think if I'm going back to Opera Manuel, Manuel made me begin with that. I think the question was so if it is fair, your vision.
Thank you very much. My question is to make it clear is we have the problem of engagement in environmental issues, see? And for the presentation, you should have been engaged. And my question is, what are the possible skills that you use to apply so that you make use those environmental activities?
And have you got a question of Emmanuel?
I'm having a very hard time hearing you, I must say. And Jackson, have you understood the question? Actually, he's signed off right now. Are there any comments from the youth side about what Jackson has said? The difference between organizing and mobilizing? And Mary, I was hoping that you would be able to encourage people to ask questions there. I'm just trying to jump in to encourage the asking of questions. But if Jackson's not on, then I think he got disconnected the way it looks. Okay, Jackson is back on and he has to unmute, please. Jackson. Now you're unmuted. Kevin's question was, I still didn't understand it, but maybe Kevin could type it into the chat box. And I encourage you all, if you can, to type into the chat box if you have that accessible, because it's very hard to understand the acoustics.
Okay, thank you, Rita. Thank you very much. I think let's go to the next to our participants. I would like to ask you that welcome question. Just be clear. It should be short, precise, so that your question is addressed. Thank you very much. So, and we are going to the second question, if you don't mind, please.
Could someone type into the chat box what the question is or the statement by Kevin?
Okay, thank you.
Unless Jackson if Jackson has understood the question, then that would help. I'm not hearing it well.
So, okay, we are going to do so. And Brother Edwin is working on that. And he will remain. So, Brother Edwin, kindly help us with that, please. So, and we can go to the second session. And thank you very much. And we have the second question.
Okay. Thank you once again. And my question is, what are some roads whether from DRC do on the road line based on minority industries?
Yeah, Rolf, I can't hear really correctly. You
I'm
can
not
repeat the
hearing,
question for me?
Yeah, I apologize for this. I do not hear clearly either, and there should be if you can type your question into the chat box, it would help, but we cannot hear the acoustics over the microphone. And I admire all the youth that are
Yes.
waiting patiently, and my hat's off to you. Um,
Yes, but there is
Fantastic.
yes, someone wrote to me in box, so
Okay. And what did they say?
yes, asking about what can realistically be expected in the next 5 years for the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, in addressing the climate crisis. You know, Rolf, I don't know whether you catch me very well. Strengthening national, strengthening national commitments and financing. The DRC updated its national determined contribution, pledging 21% reducing in GHG emission by 2030. Financing gaps and weak institutional capacity remain major obstacle. The reports from the World Bank and IMF underline fragmented governments and the lack of climate integration across sector. For example, for these two coming years, by 2027, we can expect gradual rollout of a monitoring, reporting, and verification framework, but also stronger institutional consolidation with support from international partners. About forests, peatlands, and biodiversity, the DRC brands itself as a solution country, prioritizing forest and peatland protection, biodiversity, integrated lands management, and climate positive economic model. Like 62 million international partnership from France, US, Germany, France was announced to build a new climate economy combining conservation with sustainable growth. At COP28, the Democratic Republic of Congo has signed with One Forest Vision to advance science-based governance for forests and peatlands with a joint roadmap workshop planned for 2025 this year. Yet, controversy surrounds the government's decision to auction 52 oil blocks covering 124 million hectares, many located in intact forests and peatlands. What's likely? Progress on the scientific roadmap and conservation partnership, expansion of climate economy initiatives, continued domestic and international resistance to oil exploration. Now, 3, clean energy and renewable infrastructure. The Green Giant Solar Power Station in Goma, there is a society called Nuru Solar. It's called the Nuru Solar Mini Grid. Already powers homes and businesses and expansions of 3.7 megawatts is underway despite security challenges. The regional resist 3 hydro projects is stalled due to armed conflicts with financing under review. Now, outlook for 2025 up to 2027. Green Grant Phase 1 construction likely, continued rollout of solar mini grids in vulnerable areas. Ruzizi 3, which is a project in Congo, on hold unless regional stability improves. Now, climate resilience, agriculture, and land use. The World Bank stresses farm-led irrigation value chain development and land governance as key adaptation priorities. The agricultural transformation agenda, launched in 2022, is set to modernize staple crop value chain, like to produce cassava, maize, rice, soybean, oil. But by 2027, expansion of ATA DRC programs, thought partnerships with research centers like 2TA, with the use of climate smart agricultural practices, gradual implementation of sustainable lands use planning linked to the National Lands Use Program. Now, to conclude, over the next 5 years, DRC's climate partner way will likely hang on institutional strengthening and mobilizing external financing, forest and peatlands protection balanced against extractive industry pressures, renewable energy expansion like solar forest for most hydro delayed by conflicts, and resilient agriculture and lands management to support rural livelihoods. Now, the biggest risk remains large-scale oil and gas exploitation in ecological sensitive areas. The biggest The biggest opportunity lies in using international support to accelerate a just energy and agriculture transition that benefits local communities while protecting global community, protecting global climate stability. Thank you, Rolf.
Mary or Kevin, are there more questions there? And Edwin, an open question in your chat box. When would you like to bring on your next session?
See the question of yeah.
There is a question here. I'm hearing a broken voice from Jackson. So I'd like to repeat this question for him.
The question of what are some of the steps that an organization of change oppression, mobilization, and our cities of Congo.
Yes, perfect. If you could address that question. We do not hear you, Jackson.
Yes, I would like to answer to give something about the question of Edwin Koga, who is asking what are some of the steps that were taken during mobilization and organization of citizens in Congo against climate change oppression. First, peaceful protests and sit-ins, like march, stay at home strikes, artistic events to oppose oil gas projects. Second, the community outreach, door-to-door awareness, local meetings, youth education. The next, coalitions and campaigns. For example, our oil-free earth and not which called the Notre Terre Sans Pétrole, uniting groups nationally and internationally. Next, the other step was workshops and media campaigns, training, social media mobilization, and press advocacy. And another thing was the youth advocacy, young activists speaking at UN forums and with government leaders. And another thing is institutional engagements, pushing REDs and climate justice frameworks to include civil society and indigenous people. And another thing is climate finance demands, calling for transparent, decentralized funds to support local solutions. Now, in short, citizens in Congo organized, citizen organized through protests, education, coalitions, youth action, legal advocacy, and financial justice campaigns to resist extractive projects and push for sustainable community-led climate policies. Thank you, Koga.
Jackson, there's a statement here from Stefan Onyango. And he asked or states as follows, and you may want to respond to this. I have tried here in Kenya, but everyone is focused on personal needs. Maybe I could benchmark, Stefan Onyango writes. And I think what he's suggesting is, how about addressing the issues that people have on people personally have, meaning obviously extreme poverty, a lack of funds, lack of jobs, lack of income to eat, poor housing, and so on. And please unmute Jackson if you are. You are unmuted. How would you respond to that statement of Stephen Onyango?
Hello, Ralph.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Well, the question amounts to, should we not, I'll put it in my words, should we not address the personal needs that people have, including extreme poverty, lack of jobs, lack of income, lack of sufficient food on the table, poor housing, and so on? Have we stumped you, Jackson? I do not hear you. You have to unmute.
Are you hearing me, Rolf?
I hear one person, yes, Edwin, but I do not hear Jackson now.
Yeah, those are questions from different kind of participants who are inside the summit. So I think the presenter should answer them one by one, because some of the questions have not been answered. So if the presenter can start with the first question that was asked from Emmanuel from Tanzania, then we have Jacob from Kenya, then we have another set of questions from Stephen Onyango, and then we have these three questions also, if we can tackle them one by one.
Okay,
Thank
fine.
you.
Please take over. That's great. Jackson, you must unmute. You are muted, Jackson.
Hello.
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay. Yes, I was hearing the question about the pressure of the population in the Democratic Republic of Congo due to the unemployment and poverty. Yes, that is, Rolf?
Yes, if we take that one.
Okay.
And then we'll go back to the other questions that Edwin referred to.
Okay. So now let's say this, the pressure of the population in the Democratic Republic of Congo due to the unemployment and poverty is a constant social tension shaped by expectations, frustrations, and at times open revolts. Economically, massive employment, especially among young people, combined with the high cost of living and reliance of on informal and stable jobs, pushes citizens to demand opportunities.
We can't hear you.
And
hello, Mr. Rolf. We can't hear Mr. Jackson.
Okay, hold on. He should.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, 1 second.
We can't hear Mr.
me?
Jackson. The voice is receding.
Okay. Can you be close to the microphone, Jackson? I think they're having difficulty hearing you.
Ah, okay. Can you hear me correctly?
I hear you very clearly, but let's. Do the others hear Jackson well?
Yeah. They can
Okay.
confirm that they are hearing correctly.
If you type into the chat box if you do not hear him correctly.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Rolf.
Yeah, I hear you very well, but I'm asking if others hear you well. If you can raise up your finger, if your thumb, if you hear him well. Maybe not.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
okay, there I see a thumb. That the man in the green shirt. Thank you. That's great. Okay, so I guess you're online. So go ahead, Jackson.
Okay. I was asking about the question, yeah, the pressure of population in the Democratic Republic of Congo due to the unemployment and poverty that is a constant social tension shaped by expectations, frustrations, and at times open revolts. Economically, massive unemployment, especially among young people, combined with the high cost of living and reliance on informal, unstable jobs pushes citizens to demand the opportunities and real social policies. Socially, frustration grows among graduates unable to find work, leading to migration, family tension, and loss of trust in institutions. Now, politically, this pressure expresses itself through protests, strikes, DDCT operations, and a deep mistrust of, the deep mistrust of governments, sometimes exploited by armed groups recruiting among the poor. Now, psychologically, it generates despair, hopelessness, and a rise in petty crime, while others turns to informal trade, religion, or migration as copying strategy. Now, in short, the population's pressure in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a urgent demand for jobs, dignity, and social justice. It is an energy that can either be transformed into a positive force to change and for change through civic mobilization, entrepreneurship, and solidarity, or into instability and violence if ignored. And there is as well the question of Mr. Edwin Koga about, can we recycle waste such as plastic, used clothes, electronic devices, glasses, instead of burning them? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, recycling is far better than burning, both for the environment and for public health. What can be recycled? Plastic can be cleaned, melted, and remade into items like tiles, paving, blocks, chairs, or eco bricks. Also, used clothes can be reused, upcycled into bags, rags, or insulation, or shredded for new textile. As well, electronic devices contain valuable metal like gold, copper, and aluminum. Proper recycling prevents toxic exposures from lead, mercury, and also batteries. Glass. Yes, glass can be washed and reused or melted to produce new glass products, and lastly, without quality loss. Why not ban? Release toxic fumes, dioxins, heavy metal, harmful to health, waste materials that could generate jobs and income, increases greenhouse gas emission, worsening climate change. But the best practice is one, sort waste at the source: plastic, textile, glass, and electronics. Partner with recyclers, local or regional companies that can process the material, and promote upcycling, turn waste into useful products, or what we or crafts. Yes, or crafts. Rain awareness, teach communities the danger. Yes, teach communities the dangers of banning and the benefits of recycling. Now, recycling instead of banning protects health, reduces pollution, and creates economic opportunity. Thank you, dear Rolf.
Do you see the other list of questions, Jackson? There is a question down there. How can we encourage more people to adopt eco-friendly lifestyle? And you are muted, Jackson. Please unmute.
Yes, can you hear me, please? I'm sorry, I mute. Okay.
I hear you.
Yes.
The man in the green t-shirt, do you hear him well? You stuck up your thumb before. Can you raise your thumb now if you hear him?
Yes. Yeah, Rolf.
Okay, he's chuckling so he hears you. That's good. Okay. We got many smiles that time too. Thank you.
Hello, Rolf.
Yeah, you're on. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying this, encouraging people to adopt an eco-friendly lifestyle. Requires yes, it requires a mix of awareness, incentives, accessibility, and social influence. First, raise awareness and educate. Workshops and seminars on climate change, waste management, and sustainable living. School programs to teach children eco-friendly habits early. Media campaigns on radio, social media, and TV to highlight the benefits of eco-friendly choices. Two, apart from raise awareness and educate, two, make sustainable choices accessible. Provide recycling bins and compost sessions in communities. Encourage local markets to sell eco-friendly products. Support public transport, bike lanes, and clean energy options. Use incentives, rewards programs for households or businesses that recycle, reduce waste, or save energy. Discounts or subsidies for buying sustainable products or adopting renewable energy. But also, fourth, we must lead by example. Show community leaders, celebrities, and influencers practicing eco-friendly habits. Publicize success stories from neighborhoods, schools, or businesses that reduce waste or energy. But also build community initiatives by launching community cleanup drives, tree planting, and eco challenges. Create eco clubs or online groups where people share they share tips and progress. But at the end, integrate eco-friendly policies, encouraging local governments to ban single-use plastics, regulate e-waste, or incentivize sustainable construction, provide guidelines and support for businesses to reduce their what we call environmental footprints. But there are some key ideas. People adopt eco-friendly lifestyles when it's easy, rewarding, socially valued, and visible. Combining education, infrastructure, incentives, and community action creates lasting change. Thank you, Ralph.
First, a question before we move on. And I'm hoping Mary or Edwin or Kevin jump in. But is lunch ready there? And could someone type that in the chat box, or could the man in the blue t-shirt with the white stripes put up his thumb if he knows that lunch is ready? We want to feed the youth rather than have them hungry and listen to us. Anyone is welcome to answer into the chat box if they don't see it. But the man in the blue t-shirt, is lunch ready or you don't know?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
How many minutes, Mary? And do you want to lead in more of the moderation here because I'm just standing in? You have to unmute, Mary.
They say it will be ready by 12:30.
12:30. Oh boy. Okay. Do you want to lead in some of the questions? Because otherwise I have some suggestions. I'll read some more out of what Kevin asked there or brought up. Hold on. I think we have addressed most of them. So I have something that is not totally prepared for this day, and I would suggest because of the difference in time changes and the fact that some people didn't show up to talk because of communication problems that we will work out later. Would Kevin be willing to give what we will call a story of self? Would Jackson be willing to give a story of self? And then for all of you, I'd like to present also a story of self of Barack Obama. And in brief, behind the story of self of Barack Obama, I campaigned for Barack Obama. And as you're well aware of, his ancestors and his relatives come from Kisumu. And I never realized that until afterwards. But I learned many things in the process of campaigning for Barack Obama. And I'd like to share some of those later after lunch. But if Kevin or, sorry, not Kevin, but Edwin or Jackson are available, they are welcome to present their story of self. And you're going to ask, well, what is the story of self? And I want you all to hear it very carefully because each of you in this room, every one of us has a story of self. And it's not what you read in a book. And it's not what you read in a newspaper. And Jackson, are you willing to start with your story of self? And listen carefully because I'm going to ask you all, what is the story of self about and why is it important? And that's what I would talk about after lunch. But before then, maybe we could get started on this. Jackson, you have to unmute, I believe. You're still muted. Please unmute, Jackson. Okay, we still don't, now we hear. Now we can start to hear. Now go back and please start.
Okay. Thank you, dear Rolf, for the flow again. Let me talk about my story. I was born and raised in Goma. I don't know if you catch me correctly, but let me tell you that I was born and raised in Goma. Goma is the city on the shores of Lake Kivu in eastern parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah, it is a place of incredible beauty, but also a wounded land. When I was a child, my city already knew war, displacements, and poverty. But one day, I saw something that changed everything for me. A flood destroyed
in neighborhoods, I saw families lose their homes. I saw children on my age lose their school books in the moods. At that moment, I understood it was not just a rain. It was the result of years of deforestation, pollution, and political neglect. That day, really, I had, yes, I took two choices. I had two choices, I'm sorry. Either to look away or to get involved. And then I chose to act. First, as a journalist, to witness and inform, then as an activist to train youth, help displaced people, and defend climate justice. And I learned an essential lesson that shouting stop is not enough. We must know how to organize for the long haul. Thank you, Ralph.
Fantastic. Edwin, are you there prepared to give a story of self? And unmute if you do. Are you able to tell me, Mary, if Edwin is available?
Yeah. Before I do a story of self, there's a question. There's a question in the chat. So if it can be answered, and then I do the story of self.
Okay, and which, Edwin, which question is that? Because I don't see it exactly.
I've just posted it now. What are the imperative of public interest organizations? Hence, there is a crisis in Congo, in DRC Congo.
Got it.
Can you put?
Okay, so Jackson, what are the imperatives of public interest organization? Oops. When there is a crisis in the DRC.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, this is a good question from Monica Mboya. Okay. Rolf, first, protect human life and rights. Provide emergency assistance like food, water, shelter, and medical care. Protect vulnerable groups, women, children, displaced persons, and people with disability. Document human rights abuses and advocate for accountability. Second, promote peace and conflict resolution. Facilitate dialogue between communities and local authorities to resolving disputes, and train citizens in conflict management and early warning system. Next, mobilize resources and support. Yes, by coordinating fundraising and resource allocation for crisis relief assistance. Partner with international NGOs, UN agencies, and local actors to maximize impact. Fourth, advocate and advocate for public policy change. Pressure authorities to address root causes of the crisis, such as corruption, poor governance, or exploitation of resources. Recommend policy reforms in security, social protection, and development sectors. And fifth, yes, educate and inform the public. Raise awareness about rights, health, and disseminate accurate information. Information to counter misinformation. Empower citizens to participate in solutions, and at the end, strengthen community resilience. Support livelihood programs to reduce poverty and dependence on conflicts. Encourage local solutions, yes, for food security, water, sanitation, and environmental protection. And also build the capacity of local leaders and youth to respond effectively to crisis. Rolf, in short, public interest organizations in the Democratic Republic of Congo during a crisis must protect lives, defend rights, advocate for justice, provide essential services, educate communities, and strengthen resilience. Their work is both reactive and proactive. Thank you, Rolf.
Jackson, you always thank me, but thank the group for listening. And Edwin, are you ready? And please unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Rolf?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes.
Okay, I can go about the story of self. Okay, my name is Edwin Koga. I'm born and bred in Kisumu, in the informal settlement of Manyata, and I am a native in that community. Having cleared my fourth form and went through the college, something great happened in my life. In one of our family members who used to be a cousin, and he used to be an artist, and being that in Kisumu environments, and let me just say in Kenya, rare people support the genre of arts. So this my cousin used to be a musician and a rapper and an actor, and he tried out all means to find his means, and there was no anybody who could support his venture in arts. So he resorted to joining criminal activities, and one day in the street of Kisumu, there was an event, and he tried doing pickpocketing, and he was killed by the mob. So this dawned on me, and that's why I decided to come up with an initiative of providing platform to youths and young people who are talented, to at least they find a place whereby they can explore and cultivate their talent. Because if my cousin, who is called Nicholas Otieno, could have found a place like where I am today, like Amazon Theatrics Ensemble, such thing could have not happened to him. He could be still alive. He could find a place where he could explore his talent. So that's why we came up with the initiative to provide platform to such youths who have no place to go, but they have that art of having the talent. So that's why right now I work with youths and young people, and I provide them with a platform where they can become creative change makers in sensitizing the communities on issues relating to social issues. So up to now, that's the motive that led me to being where I am today. Thank you.
Utterly fantastic what both Jackson and Edwin are saying. And those are stories of self. And now I'm going to switch over, and this is a story of self of Barack Obama. And think that it, just like the stories of self of both Edwin and Jackson, were told in less than probably 4 minutes each. Now, Barack Obama's speech was prepared, and I think he delivered it in 2004 before anyone knew who Barack Obama was. But think about what it means with a story of self. You've heard 2 stories so far, and I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully I will find the story of self of Barack Obama very quickly here. And I know you're all hungry, but this may be food for thought before you get food on the table. And let's see here. This was in 2004, and I hope you all see my screen. Do shout if you don't see my screen, and we will start.
Let me express my deepest gratitude for the privilege of addressing this convention. Tonight is a particular honor for me because, let's face it, my presence on this stage is pretty unlikely. My father was he grew up my grandfather. My father got a scholarship to study in a magical place, America, which shone as a beacon of freedom and opportunity to so many who had come before. While studying here, my father met my mother. She was born in a town on the other side of the world, in Kansas. Her father was on joined the army, marched across Europe. Back home, my grandmother raised the baby and went to work on a bomber assembly line. After the war, they studied on the GI Bill, bought a house through FHA, and later moved west, all through the whole way, in search of opportunity. And they too had big dreams for their daughter. A common dream born of 2 continents. My parents shared not only an improbable love, they shared an abiding faith in the possibilities of this nation. They would give me an African name, Barack, or Blessed, believing that in a tolerant America, your name is no barrier to success. They imagined me going to the best school in the land. Even though generous America, you don't have to be rich to achieve your potential. They're both passed away now. And yet I know they look on me with great pride. They stand here, and I stand here today, grateful for the my heritage. My parents' dreams live on in my two precious daughters. I stand here knowing that my story is part of a larger American story. I owe it of the country on earth to keep my story even possible.
I will stop there because these are 3 stories of self of why people are doing great things. And afterwards, I will talk about them in a little bit more organized way after lunch. And I'm hoping that lunch is ready soon, and maybe Mary can let us know if lunch is ready. Or Edwin. Or the man in the blue t-shirt with the white stripes. I'm not just picking on the one in the green t-shirt either, so. Mary, or anyone, is lunch ready? You are wonderfully.
We still have 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes. Oh boy. Okay. Do you want me to start on my little talk? I'm going to share in that case and talk about the story of self. And let's see if I can find it. Okay. So let me just get started here. When lunch is ready, I will stop. But I'm going to share my screen here first again. And what I'm going to talk about today is organizing. Okay. And this is above all around peace and climate justice. And it above all starts with the story of self. And it relates to how do forgotten people, victims, become unforgotten. And most of us, and I'm talking not just about people in Kenya or in Uganda or Congo, even in the United States, there are people who go to bed hungry. I will say conditions overall are better in the United States than in Kenya or in Congo, but they're still bad. And there is a difference between what a rich man makes, a billionaire, and what an average working person makes in the United States. And we are all being afflicted by different things, including not just poverty, but what I would call climate change. And climate change, which we should have heard about earlier, is on the rise and will continue. It will not go away until we do something about it. And I have no faith whatsoever that the rich people, the people who own oil companies or gas companies, will do it. So if we start out, we might ask ourselves, what do forgotten people or victims have in common? And the emphasis being they are forgotten or left out or ignored. And this is Americans as well as Kenyans. Barack spoke at a time when there was a lot of hope. But very honestly, at this point in time right now, in the United States, if you're following it, and in many countries throughout the globe, I will say they are being forgotten people, especially when it comes to the climate issue. So what do I mean by forgotten? I hope I can move the screen a little bit too. Okay. we're going to be a little bit abstract here. And the youth who are listening, this is dedicated to all of you, by the way, especially the younger people. We have, forgive my screen, but it comes down to how do we connect our people to action? And when I'm talking about our people, I'm talking about forgotten people. How do we connect the way in which two people or groups of people feel and behave towards each other? And I wanted to take an example that we've gone through in our group in preparation for this. And these are just strictly coincidental names. Lydia, Len, Sam, Edwin. Some of them are here today and some are not. But there has been distrust and distance or discomfort between them. And what happens when there is distrust or distance or discomfort? We do not act together. We don't pull together. We don't work together. And we have conflicts. And that is not just in our own circle, it's in all of society today. And we have a very divided society. And that the way in which people or groups of people feel and behave towards each other has been transformed. And I want to just go through what we would call demotivators and motivators. We have, or action inhibitors. Those are things that stop us from doing what we should do. And that includes everyone in this room, and myself included. We've gone through this. We either suffer what we call inertia. We don't have a sense of urgency. We have apathy, meaning we just don't care, we give up. We have fear. Excuse me. I have many things going on in the screen. By the way, I better turn this one off. I don't know if you see that, the captions. We have not only fear, we have isolation. We don't stand together, we stand apart. We also have self-doubt. We're not sure of what we should do. And then there are action motivators. That's the reverse. And we've heard some action motivators today. When I hear Edwin, or when I hear Jackson, I hear action motivation. I hear urgency when Jackson talks about the flooding that occurred in his country and how his relatives fell and how the books were destroyed and houses were destroyed. I hear urgency in Edwin's talk when he talks about how his cousin was killed. I hear also anger, hope, and then perhaps most strikingly, solidarity. I see in Jackson and in Edwin, and also Barack Obama, a solidarity that we should break out of isolation and we should work together. And I also saw in all three talks, especially what they call YCMAD, which is you can make a difference, okay? And you hearing this should all feel and think about what is motivating you to be here today, or what is motivating you to act. Edwin is fantastic in his work, but it's not just Edwin that's motivating you. It's something inside of you. There are sometimes, let me add here, you have three resources. Each one of us has three resources. We are driven by what's in our brain. we're driven by what's in our heart, and we're also driven by our hands. We can use our heart, we can use our brain, we can use our hands, or we can use all three. If you start to use those, you start to take up action. But if you don't use them, you end up with no action. And a lot of these inhibitors are there to stifle you. And you think, oh, it's hopeless. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm alone. Oh, I'm not sure. Or, oh, it'll be okay later. I won't worry about it. And this, above all, in my mind, through my own what I went through, there was a period when I felt I didn't do enough, okay? Now, the question is, how do we break that distrust, that fear, or how do we create action motivators? And these are things that lead to actions of peace and actions of climate justice. There are other, also down here, I would put actions of fighting against poverty, unemployment, and many other things that are afflicting us, especially in Africa, but also, believe it or not, in the United States, and even, but less maybe in Europe. So I want to go through how we build those relationships. And that comes back all to the story of self, believe it or not. If you don't communicate your story of self to others, you have difficulty in engaging others. And a lot of us don't talk about our story of self, but it's the most powerful thing we have with our heart to communicate to others, to motivate them, to encourage them, to lose fear, to lose doubt, to lose inertia, and to feel that they can make a difference. And the stories that you heard all have something in common. Let's see if I can find it here. And this is true for Jackson or Barack Obama or Edwin. It's a story from the heart, first of all, not, as I said before, that you read in a book. It's a story of a challenge you faced. Edwin saw his cousin and his potential go down and his life lost. That was a challenge for him. Jackson saw in the flooding close ones killed. Those were challenges of his heart. Then there was a choice that had to be made. Edwin or Jackson said, I have to do what I have to do. And you've heard what they started with and what they are dedicated to. Think of also Nelson Mandela in this case, or Barack Obama. It's the same case. He was faced, he had his family, he had a heritage, Barack Obama, and he also identified with doing something that was close to his heart, that linked him to what others in his family had done. And out of this came what I would call a story of an outcome, a commitment, a determination, and something that binds people together. And the point of this story of self, and I hope lunch is going to be ready quickly, we'll go on with more after lunch, but the story of self, it binds not just you to do something, it binds you with others to do something together. But you have to share that story of self. And that story of self is your most powerful tool for engaging, motivating yourself, but also encouraging others to step up. And I will stop there. And I thank you for listening up to this point. And hopefully lunch is now ready. And after lunch, we'll come back in about 1 hour. And if any of you want to be brave, you may want to take up your story of self in 3 minutes. Why you are doing what you're doing, not because you read it in a book or in the newspaper, but because you feel in your heart it's the right thing to do. So, thank you.
Attends, je cause avec quelqu'un. Je te reviens.
Mary, are you there ready to declare lunchtime? Or Edwin, is it lunchtime?
Oh, yeah. It's lunchtime now.
Okay, so we'll get together maybe in 1 hour, which
Yeah.
is 1:30 your time.
Yeah.
And think about the story of self in the meantime. And Mary's in charge there for sure of how people should sit at the table. So good luck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
And according to the program, seeing that we need to break for lunch, which is supposed to be from 12 to 1. Kindly, I think that is what I said. So to our participants who are in the room, I think the meal cards are going to be given. Okay, they are being brought here, so just be patient. We know the time is gone and is well spent. Otherwise, thank you for being patient. Okay, thank you very much. I'm being reminded that DJ
Where is cards? It's very on. Very okay, okay, gochine Paul. Gochine Paul. Kenya ni ngama kelo wakati. Jadi, India, kalau maton, ay pasabo. Climate change with focus on global upside. Focus on
both upside text. We use data our focus plus while our clean up what is got aware the importance smart is both of kele mondo recycle timo alos godo gima chielo. Koro abiro biro gi samples mag gik molos kaka ineno kaka koro kata mana shati ni inyalo dhi tiloko kata mana ragged. Inyalo kaw jeans tiloko ragged. Ichak idhi uso fashion. Gimachielo modhi timo en clothes work. Idhi biro niwach koro wadwako lewni kuom ji mopogore. Idhi biro gi lewni idhi bedo gi cloth line. Kata mana lepi mitiyo kata mok itigo ibiro kelo chieng' cha chieng' no wadhi angiela maber maga
Mix como la verdad. Bien buena, bien buena. Bien buena. No me la bien.
I'm here. Hi, Mary.
Connect to Germany.
I see you and I hear you. Do you hear me? Thank goodness. So in the chat box, please note if you can hear me.
Thank you very much. You're able to get up and place your hand. So to start this, all the other administration, they're going to have music conference. Right now, what are the things we need? So that they open for us.
Can you hear me?
Justice Africa. But also And then, so, Vasali, you say it once. Thank you.
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, we've started, and the performance on music is next. You said you wanted to record. They are on stage. They are doing.
Okay, I can't hear everything, but Mary, maybe you can tell me when I should resume. Or are we ready?
You can resume immediately after the performance.
Okay, I've understood I may resume now, right?
No,
We want to have a performance first, then we continue.
Yeah. Please start with the performance. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
great.
Okay.
And welcome everyone. And Mary, you may want to introduce again because there are some new viewers on the program here that have come in that are watching. We are about 10, 12 people. Oops.
Okay, Kevin is going to introduce the program and what we are doing next. Kindly, Kevin, go on.
Okay, thank you. to become a coffee. That's all about peace, eh? To understand. Okay, let's look at your peace. Come on, peace project. Your soul is a positive struggle, not you. Peace, follow. Yeah, beautiful. Hey, I believe we can win. I believe we can together. Hey, together. I was able to this because I needed, and you needed, you don't need it. I was able to this because I didn't, you don't. I was able to this because I needed, and you needed, you don't need it. I was able to this. All the need, down the money for my God, brother, she power to speak promotion. So I go play and what I be talking with you. Make it here and wow, as you program, you don't take a foreign, consideration violence, the poor global, don't really stop everyone, cut to be deeper. We want platform, what happened, we want, no matter where you go, we want all around the world. التي تنصر يبدأ I was such a good because I so when we can to about you, we need in the Lord. I hope you will when I get to you, thank you very much, Felipe and Gabi, and that was amazing. Okay, so I now take this chance to invite Kevin to give an opening remarks, and then I invite everybody.
Thank you very much. Indeed, very late. Let's do issues here. But in the morning, was given the opening remarks, which are prepared at the table. So the morning session did get there to give that opening remarks. So without much ado, kindly let me just put the opening remarks afternoon. So that I welcome everybody in this summit, the Pan-African Peace and Climate Justice Youth Summit 2025, which is happening in Congo-by Labor College. So the welcome is our guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to Zoom. It is both an honor to start before you here this afternoon as we open this important gathering, the Youth Summit on Peace, Climate Justice in Africa, here in vibrant city of Kisumu. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you. We are deeply honored by your presence. To our participants from Ghana, and White, Maribudi Sana, Philato, City, the significance of this event, one, Islamic serves as a very moment for our continent and for the world. Africa is a beautiful continent, home for the youngest population globally. We are a generation full of innovation, energy, innovation, and resilience. Yet, we are also a generation confronted with some of the greatest challenges of our time: the threats of conflict, climate change, and social injustice. The theme of our summit, peace and climate justice, is not just it is urgent. We cannot talk about development without peace. We cannot speak without a revolution. The two are independent. Where resources are depleted, where the environment is depleted, and where management is done. Community business and instability. Why would this peace and climate justice happening in this world? It is not the immediate here on the shore of Lake Victoria. This great lake share by Kenya and Tanzania. And remember our visitors from Tanzania, Brazilian, kindly you can get my sister Asia, those are our visitors from Tanzania. Karibuni sana Kisumu. You are greatly welcome. Thank you, thank you. It provides food, water, transport, and livelihood. That is the Victoria. Yet it also faces the hard reality of population, over-exploitation, and the impact of climate change. Kisumu therefore stands as a reminder that the issue we discuss are not abstract. They are live reality that affects our people every single day. What are the role of the youth as far as the climate change is concerned? The youth of Africa cannot be able to understand us in this story. We are actors, innovators, and peace builders across the continent. Young people are mobilizing communities, planting trees, promoting dialogue, using technology for focus, and calling for accountability in government. This summit is a testament that the youth are ready to lead, not tomorrow, today. We are here to extend the hand.
Okay. I need to know that you all hear me. And are you able to hear me? Now, if Mary can turn on her link and I can see that you're on, then I can proceed. I'm not sure that I'm totally on. Lydia hears me, I believe. But Mary should be on as well. Okay, do you hear me, Mary? You said yes now, but I just want to make sure. I see you on one channel. Okay, I don't understand how this thing works, but we'll see. Okay. Lydia, do you hear me? Can you unmute, please, Lydia?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, do you see that Mary is on? Because I do not see that Mary is on.
I don't see Mary here.
Yeah, I don't either. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, Mary is texting something, but I will have to ask, am I to talk on Zoom now? I am getting strange answers and I don't know what's going on. Lydia, you were off a little bit and that was wise. You did miss a little bit, which I have not recorded, but they were able to record. So. Okay, I think there is a problem in the communication of this, but we will see. I gave part of a talk to those who are on the story of self. And I was going to continue that, but I don't know exactly what is going on right now. So. Okay. Edwin Colgan, admit. Maybe they're waiting for me.
Mhm.
Okay, Edwin, if you can unmute yourself and let me know if you want me to continue or keep quiet.
Okay, so Rolf, sorry, we had some technical issues. We are coming back.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
So we're ready to continue where I left off.
Yeah. You can continue. We had some technical hiccups.
Okay. The first thing I want to do is give you a short story of self. We were talking about short stories of self, and one of your participants has presented a wonderful story of self, Wycliffe Otienne, and if Wycliffe accepts it, I would like to read his story of self unless you want to read it, Wycliffe. And I think you're being brave, by the way, because it's not always easy to talk about a story of self. Some people I know end up crying, including myself. But then there are others who have it easier to talk about it. Do you want to read up, or may I read up your story of self, which is very short? You can nod or put up your thumb. Is that all right, Wycliffe? Okay. At least you're not saying no. So I'm going to read this, and it's in the chat box, and I will re-enter it into the chat box. And the point about a story of self is to show your values, what you believe is precious and important to you. But it's not just to yourself, it's to the others around you, because when they hear it, they relate to it. And if you think about what Barack Obama's speech was about, or you think about what Edwin said or Jackson, they came from the heart, and people can accept that and take it in and realize that they identify with you and they agree with you. There are very few people who will say, I disagree with Edwin because he's concerned about the poverty and what happens to people when they are poor and they go into drugs or whatever. The same is true for Jackson. They hear it and they understand it and they identify with you. And that process of identification brings you closer to going to action. And so I want to go back to what I was talking about before, which is the story of self. And I'm going to share my video again, or it's not really a video, it's a PowerPoint. I'm sorry. But before then, I'm going to read, whoops, 1 second here. I'm going to read the story of self of Wycliffe. Okay. I grew up deeply connected to the environment around me. The fields, trees, and fresh air were not just part of my surroundings. They were part of my life. Over the years, I began to notice changes, unpredictable rains, hotter days, polluted rivers, and the quiet disappearance of the birds and the insects that once filled my mornings. This is fantastic, by the way. These small but painful changes opened my eyes to the reality of the climate crisis and how it directly affects our communities. My path toward climate justice began with a single realization: climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a justice issue. It affects the most vulnerable people first and hardest, especially those who contribute the least to the problem. Families in my community struggling with floods, farmers losing harvests to drought, and children suffering from air pollution became the faces of this crisis for me. Instead of sitting back, I chose to act. I start by raising awareness among friends and neighbors, encouraging them. And this is Wycliffe Ochieng. This is fantastic. And for all of you who are listening, I encourage you to write just this short, this is maybe less than 100 words. And I have permission from the Friday for Future newsletter to get your short statements published. And I encourage you to do exactly like Wycliffe did in doing this. And Wycliffe, you should keep on writing. You are really almost a poet. Your writing is wonderful, and thank you. So I'm going to share my screen now and continue with the story of self, because we're just in the midst of what this means. And bear with me as we look at this, if I can find the different things in my PowerPoint here. So just to summarize, and I'll repeat this at the end, a story of self is really a story from the heart, not from what Wycliffe read in a book or heard a leader tell him. It comes directly from him. It's a story of a challenge he faced. He saw it in the environment, for instance. It's a story of choice. And Wycliffe made a choice to engage in environmental issues. And it's also a story of outcome, of commitment, determination, patience, hardship, and friendship. And I respect you and commend you for that. So let me go on now with the story of self, because this is just part of it. The question is, how do we connect the story of self to our people and to action? You have to tell your story to others and share it. Just like these people in this picture are showing you. The problem that we have today, and that most people who are aware of climate change have, including academics in the West world, the global North, whatever, they talk and they write with themselves, but they do not talk to people, and they do not go into their communities. And it is one of the worst, let's say, behavior problems that is occurring in our society. We are not reaching out. And that's one reason that our message is not getting out there to others. These are pictures of people, on the other hand, who are communicating. And there are different ways to relate. And I'm just going to go through them very briefly because those like Edwin are doing them. Okay. So what we're trying to do in this process is build ties between what we all believe and the need for peace and climate action. And how do we do this? Okay, we took the story of self, but beyond the story of self is something else. And this is the story of we, because it's not just about Edwin or Wycliffe or somebody doing it on their own or Jackson. It's the story of us doing it together. And this brings us closer and closer together. We cannot accomplish anything really on our own until we gain support and relate to other people. And the way to relate is by sharing our story of self, because they will discover in themselves the same story in one fashion or another that you are telling. If they're talking about unemployment amongst youth and somebody says, I haven't had a job and I'm looking for a job, and he shares it with somebody else, they will understand that they are in the same boat and they need to do something, and they will start thinking about it. And that becomes the story of we, of two or more people coming together. And in our group, I talked initially when we started out with this project, there were differences. And there are still differences, but there are also people coming closer and closer together because they see that we all feel the same thing, and we realize in our hearts that we have to work together. So this is the story of we. And then there's a final story, which is the story of urgency, because beyond this comes the story of we need to do it now. If you look at the climate change issue and the peace issue, especially climate change, it's here now, but people still don't see it. Okay, so where are we going with the story of self to bring people together? It's going from the story of self to organizing. That's where we want to go. And what is organizing about? I'm going to go very in a short way about this and talk a little about it. But what we want to do is we want to build ties with the community. And how do we do that? We have what we call one-on-ones. One-on-ones is when, for instance, Mary meets Kevin and they talk and they discover that they have the same values and they're the same concern. Or when two people come together and somebody's an activist, such as Edwin, and he talks to someone else and they realize that they're in the same, they have the same belief that poverty is no good and we got to get out of poverty, or